An international civil society has now exposed the significant presence of lobbyists at COP28 summit in Dubai. According to the Center for International Environmental Law, 475 lobbyists are pushing for carbon capture and storage projects, following the recent report of 2,456 fossil fuel lobbyists gaining access to the climate talks. Critics argue that this technology aiming to trap carbon emissions might be more of a lifeline for the fossil fuel industry than a real climate solution. This revelation raises questions about the role of lobbyists in shaping climate policy.
Capable call coming up from civil society, from global leaders around the world for a full, fast, fair, and funded phase out of fossil fuels in these negotiations. It is a critical test, a fundamental test of the success of this process, and one by which our work here over the next 2 weeks needs to be measured.
What we're seeing is the risk of a very bloated, basically meaningless global stocktake tax with no operational purpose. A reminder, the purpose of the global stocktake is really to enhance ambition. And the next round of NDCs is just around the corner. Many of those will look at the period from 2025 to 35. So that's a period where many or most industrialized countries that are most responsible will have to get very close to zero fossil fuel emissions already.
Let's talk to environment rights activist and founder Health of Mother Earth Foundation, Nnimo Bassey. He joins us live from Dubai. Thank you for talking to us this hour. First, what do you make of this carbon capture and storage technology? They say the idea is trapping industrial CO2 in order to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and mitigate climate change. Isn't that the aim for fossil fuel reduction?
When you define it, sounds like that is what is intended to do. Carbon capture and storage is actually a process by which the industry will keep on polluting, but claim to capture the pollution and store it somewhere. So it doesn't really stop the pollution. It only captures it. And this is a claim. It's not really, it's not been found to be very successful in the test that's been done. Because you're going to capture pollution and then either store it in the rocks, in the ground, or the bottom of the ocean, or some kind of mechanisms. And, you know, it could at best keep the industry, fossil fuel industry alive. That's what it is, to give them an argument that, look, although we're polluting, we are actually capturing the pollution and taking it out of circulation.
Do you agree that it's really a challenging task ahead of policymakers to be able to come up with effective policies, seeing how divided, civil society organizations are from other industry stakeholders?
Well, here at the Conference of Parties, they've just brought out the latest text of the draft of the outcome. And we can say that the fossil fuel industry is winning very big out here, because the intention, every language that was in the former draft to phase out fossil fuels have been struck out. And all we're seeing is reducing production and consumption of fossil fuels. This doesn't really mean anything. And, what the world needs now is really what science has proven, to shift away from fossil fuels. They should be talking about how to do that, not how to avoid that shift, which cannot be avoided indefinitely.
How do we then ensure urgent environmental issues take precedence over what many have called lobbying interests in international climate summits?
Well, what civil society has been asking for many years now to keep the polluters out of the COP. But now, the polluters, the fossil fuel industry has gained so much presence. The Nigerian delegation from Nigeria, we had at least 64 fossil fuel representatives at the Conference of Parties. And around the world, as mentioned, there are so many of them here. And we have the president of the COP also coming from that sector. So it's getting increasingly difficult because the sector is so powerful. But what we have to, the people of this world, have to make it clear to policymakers that we are talking about the future of the planet. the future of humanity, the future of every other living being, not the convenience of an industry whose action is clearly known to be damaging the climate. This is a tragedy of the situation.
You know, pre-COP28, climate campaigners have raised certain doubts about, what will happen during this summit, particularly the location being a petro state, and the man who is the head of the summit is also CEO of the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company. How much of this has impacted on what you've seen thus far in the past days?
Yeah, obviously, the president of the COP has had difficulty. He must have faced a lot of difficulties trying to appear kind of impartial, while at the same time, of course, he must be very open to his friends and pals in the sector. And so he would, in terms of language coming from him, there's been some hiccups here and there. For example, when he doubted the science behind climate change, and which he later on said he never denied. But the way we can judge his performance and his influence is in the outcome. And in the outcome that we have in our hands right now, as of today, this evening, it's not smelling good, it's not looking good either.
All right, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Nnimo Bassey is an environment rights activist and founder Health of Mother Earth Foundation. He joins us live from Dubai. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.